one in the mist.
Tug along with the Sunday crew. Geeking out is what we do. Giggle on, it's gonna be great. Don't be late, let's celebrate. Science fiction on a screen so bright. Old classics and the new delights. The unapologetic geek will lead the way with facts and fun to fill your day. Discussing every detail, every frame, from the eerie to the loud and the same. Giggle along with all that's great. Those Sunday vibes you can't debate. Tug along with the Sunday crew. Geeking out is what we do. Giggle on, it's gonna be great. Don't be late, let's celebrate.
Hi.
Greetings.
How's it going?
South Carolina. Fonz
Or
is
not.
back.
Fonz is here, yes.
Hey, and we're all wearing hats today.
We are.
I couldn't for the life of me connect my Bluetooth, and it was driving me to despair, but I seem to have ironed that out, so.
Good. Awesome.
Yeah, all looks good.
Yeah.
So,
I will
hello,
be
welcome
here.
again to Tug Chat.
I will be here, but give everybody a warning. If suddenly I disappear, that means something come out of the mist and got me.
He's got
Which
things
is
from the
possible.
Bermuda
Come
Triangle
across
crawling
the
on his
screen
head.
and grab you or something. You know.
Yeah,
One of those little spiders, you know.
he's living in the post-apocalypse at the moment.
Ah, yes.
And I got to tell you, the beard is growing in very, very nicely. It's each week, it's a little
Yes.
more
Mhm.
fuller and cropped, and it just works on you, dude. It works on you.
I'm
Barry.
still shaving
good.
up the sides right now.
Me too.
Closer,
Well, I need to.
closer to Christmas, I'll let the sides go a little bit. But it really annoys me when the hair starts flickering around my ears in the wind.
Yeah, you can get the wings. I hate that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway, yeah, we're gonna keep talking about post-apocalyptic survival movies. And before I get to my actual pick, I do want to very briefly touch upon the homework I was given to watch Radioactive Dreams. This was a post-apocalyptic movie from the 80s that Thrash was talking about. It's about two guys who were basically raised in a fallout shelter by themselves because their dad had left them there, or their dads left them there, and they come out of the post-apocalyptic after like listening to a bunch of swing music and reading a bunch of like Dashiell Hammett novels and stuff like that. So they're all into the 40s lingo and hip attitude and all that. And they're so naive about the world that they go into, and they're like immediately beset by mutants. And there's like this woman who is, who tries to use them, and she's got like the keys to blow up the last nuclear bomb for some reason, and they wind up getting captured by cannibals. It's a whole thing. It was a lot of fun. I was not expecting it to have been made on a budget of about $10.
That was crazy.
But I did enjoy it, and I did like how it all ties together in the end. I mean, the plot makes absolutely no sense. It's so contrived, but I love it anyway. I think it was fun. So I just wanted to let Thrash know I did watch it.
Thank you.
And I did
Is
enjoy
it, is it a 80s movie? It is an 80s movie.
Yeah,
It is an 80s
Looks
movie,
like
and
an
you can
80s
find
movie.
it on YouTube
Yeah.
for
Oh,
free.
It is
Okay.
quintessential 80s movie.
it is definitely on my watch list now.
And fair warning, at the very beginning, it looks like it's in like a washed out black and white. It looks like the color's all messed up from YouTube compression, but it's not. That's how the movie actually starts. It goes into color later.
And on a bright note, guys, this won't be the worst movie we talk about today.
Oh, no, not at all. It's not even going to be the worst movie I'm about to talk about. I'm going to talk about a worse movie in just a second. But first, I want to say hi to
One thing
every- Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Oh,
I was
I just want to
just
say what I really loved about this movie is it had the two things the 80s were known for. The 80s were one of the most forward-thinking decades of all time, and yet at the same time, the most nostalgic decade of all time up until this one. The 80s was obsessed with the 60s, with the 40s, with anything
With
that
the
happened before
50s,
us was
the
like
40s, 50s,
yeah.
60s. Yeah, they were obsessed with all of
And
it.
you pick a decade, you know.
Yeah. And
My
they
favorite
hated
running-
the 70s. If you were in the 80s, everybody was like, "Oh, the 70s
The
suck."
70s with the bell bottoms. And, yeah, true. The one recurring joke that every single time it happened, I thought it was funny, is these two guys, they think of themselves as private detectives, dicks in 40s lingo. So they're going around the post-apocalypse, introducing themselves as, "Hi, I'm Philip. I'm a dick." It's just like, it's really funny. Anyway, yeah, I don't want to spoil too much, but it is fun. I do recommend it. I mean, but know what you're in for. It's an extremely low budget movie.
And a farce.
And a farce, of course. Yeah, it does not take itself seriously. But first, I did want to say hi to the people in the chat. We've got Indy Spoats, who I'm sure has also seen Radioactive Dreams.
He wrote it.
Yeah, probably. Vim Vander Straten is here as always. We've got Tracy in the chat. And don't worry, Tracy, I'll get you back on the panel one of these weeks. Who else? Gary Carpenter is here. Hello, Gary. Always good to
Gary
see
7.
you. Jess Carowin is here. Some dog is here. I don't know. And Sarah. Sarah is also here.
Sarah, smile.
Okay. And I'm sure there are other people will pop in as we go. And as always, I will be terrible at keeping up. Here we go. Texas Night. Just in time. Hello.
All my exes live there.
So anyway,
I wish all my exes lived there.
for my first pick, I'm actually going to pick a movie that I do like and I do enjoy, but it is objectively a terrible movie, because it features Sean Connery in a bikini, basically, and that is Zardoz.
Oh.
This is an awful movie full of really random 70s psychedelia and a plot that barely makes sense. You have to watch it like 5 times to even know what's happening. The acting is...
I watched recently. I watched that in the last month or so when we started
Really?
talking about apocalyptic movies. It was one of the ones I had the misery
pleasure.
I
The
will
misery.
say I enjoyed the wardrobes in this movie terrifically. I think it's some of the best fashion in a movie I ever saw.
Is this
Other
the
than
one with
that,
the floating
about it.
is
Yeah,
this
the
one with
floating stone head
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
That's Zardoz is the floating head.
I saw that a long time ago.
It takes its name from the Wizard of Oz, Zardoz.
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
It's the post-apocalyptic Wizard of Oz. Is that what?
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
Like the plot, as I understand it, and I've seen this movie like a dozen times, and it's still kind of shaky. There's this group of people who have like unlocked the secret to eternal life. They're called the Eternals, and they live all together in this one place, and they live these lives of decadence and boredom. And they get, if they step out of line by the council or whatever, they get punished with more like they age a little bit. But even if they age all the way to death, they just get reborn again. So it doesn't really matter. And Sean Connery plays Zed, who is this brutal, as they call it, which are the regular mortals that live in the post-apocalypse outside of where the Eternals are. And he hijacks a ride onto Zardoz just to meet the Eternals and see what's going on. And he ends up leading a revolution. And there's all this random stuff in between. And that's putting it mildly. I like this movie because it feels like you're on drugs, even if you are stone cold sober. Like you watch this movie and you will feel like you're really messed up. And it takes a while after watching it to recover your sanity. I love that. I think that's great. So Zardoz, everybody. It is technically a post-apocalyptic movie, but man,
Well,
is it weird.
definitely.
Yeah.
Oh,
Go ahead.
can I start?
Yeah, go for it.
I saw this movie wanting to love it. It was one of those movies that I had read about beforehand and always wanted to see. And it got a very limited release initially, even in home theater. And I finally found it at a obscure rental place when I was in college, and I remember going. Now, of course, as you know, I love John Borman. Excalibur is one of my favorite films of all time. And when I found out he did it, I'm like, oh, this is going to be fantastic. It was not. And I'm not sure exactly. Right off the gate, the part of Zed, which, by the way, means nothing in proper English. I felt compelled to read that in there. It was written for Burt Reynolds because Burt Reynolds had just done Deliverance.
Which is also why John Borman was given so much freedom to do whatever he wanted.
And I don't know if Burt Reynolds was working on another project at the time. I think Gator or something. I don't know.
According to Wikipedia, he was just sick when they started filming.
Oh, okay. But he could have pulled it off because he would have put a little fun in it. Sean Connery, I don't know if it's because he's such a pompous asshole. Even when he tries to do tongue-in-cheek parts, he can't do it. And it's not even like Leslie Nielsen, where if he just played him straight. It's almost like you see in his face, I am so above this. Like Liam Neeson in Phantom Menace. And as far as the story goes, it's almost like he had so many great ideas, he just couldn't fit them all together. So he just sort of threw them at the screen. And I'm like, it may have worked better as a mini-series or something, but the movie was just too much of a mishmash to actually fall in love. I mean, I love the premise, a post-apocalyptic death cult, which is being utilized by a group of people who can't die and are sick of living. I mean, the pieces are there.
It's a really cool idea. Yeah.
Yeah. It is.
Now that I think it over, and Pons has made that statement, I choose to believe that Burt Reynolds didn't do it because he read the script.
I mean, it's distinctly possible. There's a reason I quoted it as a Wikipedia fact, not an actual fact.
The thought had occurred to me.
Also, I think Sean Connery only took it because he had just stopped playing James Bond and he wanted to do something that was the exact opposite of James Bond. And, well, he did. But yeah, in this movie, every actor, I mean, there are actually some good actors in this movie, but like nobody acts like a human being at all. Like not even close.
This came out around the same time Time Bandits come out by any chance?
This was before Time Bandits. Yeah.
Time Bandits was about 10 years later by my calculations.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure on the years.
Yeah.
Let's see, Zardoz was 74, and yeah, Time Bandits was early 80s. So yeah. The problem is that he threw together a bunch of great ideas. It's like he threw a bunch of bad ideas. Yeah.
Well, the idea of eternal life being a curse with people who actually possess it, that's something that goes back to ancient Greece.
Oh yeah, it's a neat idea. Yeah.
So, I mean, it is.
And there's obviously a lot of Greek imagery in this movie. So like, yeah. Including the
giant floating head.
I think Borman was just doing a lot of drugs at the time, to be honest with you. Honest to God, I think he was like going through a drug phase,
That's
like Brian Aldiss.
True. Yes.
Brian Aldiss went through a phase where he was writing while on hallucinogenics, and you can tell.
And Vim, the difference between Zardoz and The Name of the Roses, I'll actually say The Name of the Roses is a good movie. I like The Name of the Roses.
Definitely.
And Charlotte Rampling.
I like Sean Connery. I should mention that. I really love Sean Connery.
Oh yeah, I love Sean Connery too. He was in Time Bandits.
I think that's why Danny mentioned him.
Yeah, you're probably right. I didn't. Go ahead.
It was a very. It wasn't a particularly dynamic role. He basically just played Sean Connery as Agamemnon. And it worked.
And wasn't he also the fireman at the end or something like? Yeah, he was.
Yes. Yeah. He was the fireman at the end of the Time Bandits. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was going to play into the sequel, which never happened.
Goes off the rails and plays a crazy outside the box character.
Right. Yeah.
I thought John Cleese was pretty good as Robin Hood in that movie. But...
Oh yeah, he was great. He was brought in the last minute. That was originally going to be Michael Palin.
Oh, was it?
And he stole the movie. Yeah.
Anyway,
question by the way.
Go ahead.
I keep interrupting you. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Okay. Quick question. Anecdotally, I've always been under the impression that the reason Time Bandits 2 never happened was due to the falling out George Harrison had with Terry Gilliam after Time Bandits 1. Is there any truth to that?
There is definitely truth to that. I don't know if it's 100% the reason. I think there's also the Terry Gilliam canceled like 90% of his projects. He's like a Guillermo del Toro figure. But I also think, the falling out he had with Harrison definitely contributed. Probably. Definitely, probably. What am I saying?
Definitely, probably.
Yeah.
Definitely, maybe.
Most likely.
I'm 100% right 60% of the time.
Done.
Yeah. Anyway, go ahead, Danny.
This is going to take about 45 seconds because the name of the movie is what?
Quintet.
Quintet. Well, I don't know why I can never pronounce that right or remember it. Quintet with Paul Newman. I'm sure nobody ever saw it. So it'll just be me talking about this post-apocalyptic nightmare with Paul Newman in a froze-over wasteland, where it's a very similar to Logan's Run, where as you age out, you play this horrible dice game that goes on and on and on in drug out scene after scene, which are supposed to be dramatic, but tend to bore at your brain for boredom as the dice game goes on and on and on. And at the very end of the dice game, if you win, you go on to bang a girl and get to have children. And if you lose, it goes all Soylent Green and you become dinner for everybody else in the apocalyptic wasteland.
Do they process you down into green crackers first, or do they?
I think you come out looking more like cheese.
No.
And the whole time I was watching this movie, I thought there's something wrong with this, and that's what I got from it. My take may be somewhat twisted, but it was drug out, but it was so brain numbing. I mean, it's Paul Newman. What can I say? But it's like the only apocalyptic nightmare movie, science fiction thing this guy's ever done in his whole life. And once you watch it, you'll realize why. If you choose to watch
it. You're not making me want to.
Well, you're not going to want to, but you're going to want to, because after I watched it, I had to go back and rewatch it a little bit more. And then I went back a third time and rewatched it some more because there was something I wasn't getting. And then I slapped myself in the face when I finally got it. And I think I'm right about it, but I'm not sure.
What is it? I can tell you.
I was thinking Earth had ended, and this was the apocalyptic future.
Uh-huh.
But I think it's the Ice Age, and these people were the Atlanteans.
Well, according to the plot summary, it's during the second Ice Age.
Yeah, it was like the Younger Dryas thing going on. And I didn't get that till like the third time.
I like your spin on that. That's an interesting way of looking at it. But no, it's a second
outfits and the necklaces and the spiral city thing that looks just like Atlanta's that fell. You know, they weren't talking about San Francisco falling. They were talking about this other city where they used to live. You know, well, just saying that you might want to check it out for that reason. It might blow your mind at the end.
I haven't watched it yet. I will.
Apparently, it's Robert Altman's least popular movie on Rotten Tomatoes. You
know why? By the way, did I mention the part they played dice for 45 minutes?
Well,
some college kids actually came up with a rule book for the game Quintet. They actually published it.
And we were talking about movies a few weeks ago, and Robert Redford had passed away. And I were talking about Robert Redford movies, and it was while I was researching Robert Redford that the subject of Robert Redford and Paul Newman had made so many movies together as how I accidentally found this one. And then we started talking about post-apocalyptic movies, and I'm like, hey, well, this guy made one.
You are very correct. And I actually really enjoyed this movie for a couple of reasons. One, much like Soylent Green, the catastrophe isn't even the main plot of the movie. I mean, yes, the second SH has hit, and people are coping with it, but it's almost like, yeah, that happened. Now we're trying to carry on, and it deals with a very interesting thread in post-apocalyptic fiction that people hit upon. Now, there's food, water, shelter, security. Those are the four things that people will have to try to find after an apocalypse. But the fifth thing is that which can stave off unendurable boredom. You know, after the apocalypse, there will be precious little to do, and it will start to drive you insane. And after an ice age, people tend to be stuck inside. So what do? They come up with this elaborate game, and it forms into casinos because tournaments become the next level. And what happens, Dan, and this is the interesting thing that you kind of just happen to skirt over, is there's this one underground, and there's sort of like the elite class, and they come up with, it's almost like something out of a Deadpool or something. We'll take it one step further, where when you lose in the game, you die. It'll add a new layer. And what happens is Paul Newman's just there to visit family, and his pregnant girlfriend gets killed. So he goes on a quest of revenge and ends up getting caught up in it. So it's part murder mystery, part statement against class culture. And one of the things I thought was really interesting is the game becomes part of their culture. Like when a guy's trying to be cagey, he goes, I was playing the fifth man with you. Because in Quintet, the fifth man is the one who sort of watches and waits and then kind of comes in at the end. They put a lot of thought into what a post-Ice Age society would have. When a guy goes in, he turns the light on, ice starts to melt off the light bulb because frost is built up on it. I mean, it reminded me of Left Hand of Darkness, where Ursula Le Guin actually put a lot of thought into what a
ice planet, basically,
an ice age would actually be like. And it's not particularly optimistic, but I just thought it was incredibly well put together, and it's a real sleeper hit, but I really liked it, so I'm glad you mentioned it.
Hey, bonus points for mentioning Ursula.
You have seen this movie?
Oh, several times.
So explain to me, did you notice in the movie they never mentioned no modern city names? They never mentioned nothing to do with modern stuff. And almost every reference they make seems ancient and a past time, does it not?
Yes, and I think there's two reasons for that. One, they're trying to show, because it's probably been a couple centuries after the Ice Age hit, so they have very limited contact with that earlier age. And also, and this is kind of slick, a lot of post-apocalyptic movies that they make whatever year the film was made in the sort of baseline. My personal favorite, which might actually come up here, is ZPG, where conveniently everyone in zero population growth in the time period that's set in is obsessed with the year 1971.
Right.
Because guess what year ZPG was made in? But what they did was, it was probably 100 years after contemporary times. So like when they go into the library axis, it's very modern looking, which is ironic because probably 100 years from now, they won't even bother to have libraries the way our technology is going. But so yeah, things were meant to look, it's that sort of future past type situation where it was in our future, but to them it was still in their past. So that which was futuristic to us is sort of lost technology to them.
But I still got the feeling it wasn't happening nowhere near our modern times.
I'm going to watch it again just for that take, because I really love that premise.
Pay attention when they're in their little apartment thing and they're talking about the old city and they got that thing on the wall like a map. It's the thing that looks like Atlantis with the circulars. It's not San Francisco or New York. It's freaking
I'll watch
Atlantis.
Yes, Graham, I have seen Last Night. David Cronenberg's in that movie. He didn't direct it, but he's in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I could be wrong, but it's just the apocalyptic film.
Canada's Wes Craven.
Yeah.
Well, it's like the scene in 10,000 BC, which I know is about as historically accurate as a Hogan's Heroes episode. But if you look really closely at the end, right before they get out of Dodge, there's a map, because the old ones are talking about trying to get home. If you look closely on the map, they're in Africa and they're trying to get back to what looks like Atlantis. If you look really closely at the map, for like a second.
Pons, I want you to know, Pons, I'm overjoyed that you know this movie and you've seen it. When I talk about it, you can respond. I sent it to Tug like I usually do, hoping he would watch it and explain it to me, but he didn't.
I only have time for one movie a week, and I had to watch Radioactive Dreams.
So, Damien, you're probably pushed to next week. Snarky.
It sounds like I've got this mental image now of being stuck in a freezer, like a walk-in freezer with a bunch of people playing an endless life or death game of Monopoly. It doesn't sound fun to me at all.
I don't know. To me, it seemed more like dominoes with dice, but
Parcheesi.
Parcheesi.
I kind of got Parcheesi out of it.
Actually, just played Parcheesi last week.
That's kind of cheesy.
It's par for the course.
I'm getting too old to play them games, buddy.
Okay, Thrash, it's your turn.
Oh, my turn?
Yeah.
Good. I'm trying to remember where I left off here, but I'm gonna actually start with one that we actually hinted at but never actually discussed, and it's one of my personal favorites, No Blade of Grass.
Ah, yes.
Which is actually based on the book The Death of Grass, and it's remarkably similar. I can count on one hand the number of significant changes between the two. They really, Cornell Wilde, I want to say, they really did their homework with this one. And it's so funny. It has a very similar story to Hot House by Brian Aldiss. When it first came to this country, it didn't sell well because it was ending up in bookstores' gardening sections as opposed to sci-fi. True story. But anyway, long story short, a mutant virus, which I believe in the book is sort of like the Andromeda strain. It like comes off a meteor. In the movie, you don't really know, but it's some kind of virus which causes death in any form of grass. Now, at first you think, well, you just have to like let the weeds take over your lawn and mow your weeds like I do. But then you have to stop and think that rice and other key staple crops are actually the grass family too.
Yeah,
and
corn.
In the span of maybe a couple of months, in a comparatively short span of time, there's a global food shortage. And it's basically how people would respond. And it's the line they use all the time in Walking Dead. When things go south, they go south quickly. I mean, they go from arguing about the price of tea in China literally on one day, and 2 days later, there's marauding assault gangs that are killing you for a half a chocolate bar in your glove compartment. It's really well made. It's really well put together.
You do for a Klondike bar?
Big pardon?
I said, what would you do for a Klondike bar? Sorry.
Oh, and by the way,
you don't seem like yourself. You could use a Snickers.
Right.
Seriously. I actually took that. That's actually a line in the book. It's like, even if you have a half a bar of chocolate, we're going to take you down. I was like, oh, wow. But,
okay. That gives new dimension.
One last second. Like all good English science fiction, it's basically a road movie. The family's trying to get out of London and get to the main character. His brother has a potato farm, which is fortified in the north of England. And it's the hilarity ensues. I'm sorry, Dan. I cut you off. What were you trying to say, brother?
I was just going to say, let go of my ego.
Oh, we could turn this into a drinking game.
This is great. Yeah.
Break me off a piece of that Kit Kat bar. Tug,
there you go. Yeah. Give me a break.
I'm pretty sure in the movie they blame pollution. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure that the opening of the movie implies it's pollution that caused the virus.
It's and the plot summary says the film opens with a montage of pollution, which is as implied by the narrator is the cause of the virulent new disease arising in Asia.
He has that rockabilly folk song, which is exactly the director singing, by the way.
Oh yeah.
I actually got a great story for this movie because the first time I started watching it, I fell asleep. The second time I started watching it, I got bored and fast forwarded. But the third time I started watching it, the remote was across the room and I was eating, so I just didn't get up and I wound up watching about 90% of it. and I found it almost as entertaining as The Happening.
Oh, come on. It's better than that.
Wow.
At least this has Nigel Davenport.
I'm just not into killer bushes. Pollen attacks. This bores me to death. The only good bush attack movie I ever saw was Day of the Triffids.
That's a good one.
One thing that the director does, and I'm not sure why he did that, though, there were a couple of movies around this time frame that did that. They would actually show little snippets that are actually fast forwards. Like this is what's going to happen in our next episode. And that was creating a TV show, but why would you do that in a movie? Mm-hmm. Tell me what's about to happen.
That's pretty weird, yeah.
If you want that, there's a movie called Knowing. Never mind.
Oh, God, please. I don't want to talk about Knowing.
Yeah, no. I'm just saying that's the same premise. But...
Saying no to knowing. So,
yeah, No Blade of Grass is great. I really enjoyed No Blade of Grass.
Well,
I find it shocking you would compare it to The Happening.
I'm gonna have to watch it because I haven't seen it.
But so. Weeds.
The plants aren't killing people; they're just starving.
they're dying. The plants are dying.
Anyway, Damien, I guess that means it's your turn.
All right. Well, I'm gonna hold off on the one that Dan and I were arguing about earlier.
Go for it.
He can bring that one up. I've got another one to bring up.
That's okay because I done forgot what we were talking about anyway.
You want me to bring it up?
Go for it, man.
Okay. 10 Cloverfield Lane.
Woohoo! I love this.
So,
movie.
This is like, kind of like the preppers movie, if you will. Guy builds a bunker underground in case the apocalypse ever happens, and he's a conspiracy theorist guy.
Be accurate. Tell everybody it's the fat guy from Roseanne.
Yeah, also known as John Goodman.
He was Sexiest Man of the Year one year.
Huh?
He was sexy. He was People's Sexiest Man of the Year in
really?
1990.
No.
Wow.
What
I did not know that.
I mean, big guys can be sexy too, I guess. That's awesome. Yeah.
You're damn right we can.
Yeah.
Sorry. Anyway. I derailed.
So the movie, I mean, it's got like 14 actors in it, the whole movie, but it's basically about just 3 people in a bunker the whole time. So, the budget for this movie couldn't have been that big. They basically made one set and filmed on a farm the rest of the time,
Oh, that was an $8 movie, no doubt.
Yeah.
Well, until the last.
But it was enjoyable.
Yeah. Until you get to the CGI at the very end there, with the, you find out what the disaster actually is, which was a little bit of a twist, what I was expecting the first time around. So, but being that it's part of the Cloverfield family of movies, you kind of expected that it was going to be something weird or strange or unexplainable. So,
Indy, how dare you say Mary Elizabeth Winstead?
See, I didn't have that.
She's never forgettable.
when I tuned into this movie, like I was telling you, dude, I had missed the first few minutes of it. I didn't know the name of it. I just knew a fat guy was holding some people in a basement, and he was a nut, and it was the guy from Roseanne.
He's really good. John Goodman is amazing in this movie. He's
he is.
So creepy.
And as I watched it, I was like, wow, this guy really is a nutcase. And you never will believe how my mind was blown when it turned out all this crap was real and there were all this going on and aliens. And I was like, what the heck?
What I liked is that it's like, it kind of gives you a realistic portrayal of what it would be like living in a fairly large bunker underground for a period of time after the fall of society or whatever. And not a very long period of time. How long were they down there? Maybe a week?
I don't know. It's not a real long movie. What's it, like 87 minutes long? So it just flies by. It's just like,
but I mean,
hi, Dixie. Good to see you here. I thought you were working.
I like a quick watch, but a good movie. You don't have to spend 3 hours watching a ship sink.
It's not a huge investment of your time. You just kind of, Well, according to this, it's an hour and 43 minutes, so it's a
Well, I missed
it's a tense little thriller. It feels Hitchcockian for most of the movie.
Yeah,
I missed the first part of it. So.
Oh, okay. So yeah. So
she just gets in a car and is having an argument with her boyfriend over the phone or something, and then she gets into an accident, and then she wakes up in the bunker. I mean, that's all you missed.
It's cool that we were discussing this because, like I said, I just missed the beginning of this movie yesterday. It's still, I have just.
I've never seen it.
You've never seen 10
never
Cloverfield?
seen 10 Cloverfield?
Wow, you should see it.
Wow.
Yeah, you should see it.
I accidentally saw it all the way through. The first couple of times I fell miserably.
The Barrel Boy was.
I forget. There was some reason why we were going to see it, and I ended up having to work or something, and then I just never got around to it. And it was like I wanted to, I intended to, but then it just one of those things I just never got to see.
Indy got it,
and I should now. Maybe that should be my homework for the week.
Yeah, the actor.
It's a decent movie. It's not a great movie, but Emmett played by John Gallagher.
Galicki.
Is that it? Yeah.
No, I'm just saying John Galicki to throw you off your tracks.
Oh.
John Galicki did work with John Goodman on Roseanne, so.
But this is one of the best things he ever done, where he wasn't singing the blues.
That movie actually hurt my love of the original. That's how much I hated that movie. Sorry.
What I didn't get about the whole thing was that, John Goodman, who plays Howard, he's a conspiracy theorist, puts all this money into building this bunker, doesn't think to put up a radio antenna or any cameras outside to see what's going on.
Hey, things cost money. Sometimes when you're building a bunker, you got to kind of cut the expenses right there, boy.
He had to get that giant blue barrel muriatic acid.
Yeah, I mean, that's pricey stuff. It's either that or the camera system, one of the two. I mean, how hard is it really? It's
funny you mentioned that, because a lot of people build things underground and they say that's actually the worst thing you could do, because the room becomes a tomb. I envisioned a post-zombie residence. It's set on concrete posts, because my thought is the tensile strength of those is so strong, and you can only smash so many zombies against it at any one moment. It would never topple over. And if that was up in the air high enough, you could put up an antenna and pick up Patagonia.
That only works in a zombie apocalypse, though. If it's like a nuclear war or alien invasion,
worst idea.
That would be horrible. That's advertising. Hey, everybody, I'm here.
When that goddamn old meteor hits, the last thing you want to be sitting in the air watching it fall.
Yeah, exactly.
Although tidal wave, it would also work in a tidal wave.
The name of the movie is 10 Cloverfield Lane. 10 Cloverfield Lane.
Yeah. But I thought it was a cool movie. It's kind of fairly realistic portrayal of living underground for a period of time after natural disaster, even like how the equipment works, and kind of goes through that. And you get to see the food storage stores and, how kind of claustrophobic it is and whatnot. But also at the same time, fairly spacious bunker. I'll give him that. He put some money into that thing.
Well,
there's a nice place. Yeah, it's the size of a house, underground. So, could have had a better movie selection down there.
That's true. Yeah.
And a better selection of magazines. I mean, he had Teen Magazine or something like that down there.
Oh, yeah.
Come on, man.
Part of his creepy nature.
Yeah, his creepy subplot of the kidnapping or whatnot.
Just by being on this list, it's already a spoiler.
Yeah.
But we're not going to spoil everything about the movie.
Yeah. If you haven't seen it, you
can kind of extrapolate what the creepy angle of this movie is going to be just by looking at the trailer.
Yeah, he's a creepy dude. Yeah,
he's a very, very creepy dude.
Yeah.
Robert Sears does when they were doing those shorts that were supposed to sort of flesh out, pun intended, The Walking Dead. Robert Sears is one of the leading experts on the planet on science fiction horror. Did a short that actually that's the premise. He uses the apocalypse as a way of being lascivious.
Okay.
Sorry.
Well,
all right.
Let's derail the conversation again. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
That's quite all right.
I guess that means it's my turn again.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk about a movie that Dan mentioned, but for some reason we haven't talked about yet, and that's Logan's Run. Why haven't we talked about Logan's Run yet?
It's on my list somewhere.
This is a movie that's very close to my heart for reasons that some people will know and other people won't.
For reasons.
Logan's Run, it is a post-apocalyptic movie where everybody's sectioned off into this dome city. In the movie, it's a dome city, and they can't live past the age of 30. They have to go to the carousel and be vaporized, basically. But of course, Logan, who is a Sandman, he's one of the ones who goes and hunts down people who run away from the carousel, from their death. And he, of course, winds up having to run himself. At first, it's because he's trying to get undercover with the resistance movement or whatever. But eventually it becomes more genuine. He really is running for his life. And he gets outside and he meets a crazy dude living in the Capitol building with a bunch of cats. And it's great. And I love this movie. I love this movie also because it's very late 60s, early 70s. It's all about that big generational divide of, never trust anybody over 30, that whole thing. And I feel like this movie really, really gets into that and expresses how the value of the older generation and the value of the younger generation and all that stuff. All the subtext is there, and it does a really good job of it. And also there's a climactic battle between two Sandmen, and one of them is like wielding an American flag. I mean, this movie's great. What's not to love about this movie? And that's not even to mention the homicidal robot that happens halfway through the movie. So
all that, and he leaves out Farrah Fawcett.
It's not. Oh yeah, Farrah Fawcett is in the movie.
It's in this movie.
She had a walk-on, for crying out loud.
Farrah's still in it though.
But she's nothing.
Jennifer Mendes is in the movie much more.
To Jenny Agutter in her basically braless toga. You know, yeah.
I only got one criticism for the movie, Tug. I love Logan's Run. I'm a big fan of Logan's Run. It flashes back memories of my childhood. But now, being older and knowing what I know now, it would have been nice, since people could only live to 30, if more than one person in the cast had been under 30.
Yeah, I know. All the cast members are old, which is really funny.
You know, it's funny. My wife and I were talking about that with Catch-22. How while I still like the original movie better than the George Clooney, although I thought the George Clooney movie was very good. I didn't like his adaptation, but everyone is age appropriate. They're all like basically 20 to 24 years old. In the movie, they're all like pushing 40. You know what I'm saying? Because pilots during World War II were appallingly young. They were usually right out of college. You know, so it's like I thought that it was good that they actually utilized that. So yeah, age appropriateness sometimes takes a back seat in movies, and you have to kind of suspend disbelief. You know,
I'm reviewing the Curse of Frankenstein, comes out today, which Peter Cushing, and the movie starts with like young Frankenstein, like he's a kid. And then like they have a montage where he gets a little bit older. He's supposed to be in like his 20s, but he suddenly turns into Peter Cushing. And even when Peter Cushing was in his 20s, he looked older. I'm sorry. He's Peter Cushing. And it's really hard to suspend your disbelief when Peter Cushing is there and he's supposed to be 20. It's like, no.
I'll try, but
great movie. You let it go, but it's funny. Anyway.
Well, I'm really glad you mentioned this one, because you actually gave me one of my favorite little tidbits. Someday I'm going to have to read the book. Because my favorite scene in the entire movie is, of course, the Roscoe Lee Brown voiced Box. That's that's just the best scene in the whole movie. And you told me that in the book it's this much creepier thing where it's not like Sterling, brilliant, like almost imaginary palace, fortress of solitude like place. It's this dark, dingy, almost dungeon, and he's like a cyborg, and he's sort of part rotting and stuff. Like, I mean, I think the movie did a better job, because when you find out that Box is evil, it's a surprise.
Yeah,
it sounds like they knew they were in deep shit right from the get-go in the book.
No, honestly, I love the book and I love the movie, but they have very little in common. Honestly, the book is very different from the movie, but I'd still love it. It's a great book. The sequels, not so much. Sequels are weird.
Yeah, I heard they were terrible.
Anyway,
and one thing I liked about Logan's Run is because they've always talked about how in the future, like through technology, lifestyles would get better. And one of the things they kind of hinted at in Logan's Run was the fact that it's a truth that other societies found. The more hedonistic the society becomes, the less satisfied its people are. For whatever reason,
True.
I think that's a fascinating dynamic.
That seems to be coming up a lot today. Zardoz, it's a major plot point. Quintet, boredom.
Yes,
yeah.
And Logan's Run has a real fond memory. It was one of the early movies I actually saw in the theater as a kid. And when you have that young kid, Logan's Run on the big screen experience, it leaves an impression.
To answer your question, who asked it? Gary, Logan's Run was written by two people, William F. Nolan and George Clayton Johnson. The sequels were written by William F. Nolan, and George Clayton Johnson still had the rights to the first book so that he could, if he wanted to, write sequels of his own that were completely different from the other sequels, but then he died before he could, and yada, yada, yada. Anyway, there's reasons I know that.
And on a related note, Marvel Comics puts out a really, really accurate adaptation of the Logan's Run in a comic book series.
Cool. Yeah, and there was a TV
About
show
the same
too
time
that wasn't that
movie,
great.
I think in 70 or like mid-70s.
Yeah,
Yep.
the TV show, it was The Fugitive.
Yeah.
We shouldn't even talk about that, should we?
It wasn't that good.
And they added a robot who was played by the guy, I can't think of his name. He was the chief in John Carpenter's The Thing.
Yeah.
He played the robot in Logan's
The robot
Run.
was named Ren, R-E-N, Ren.
I thought it
Moffat.
was Rem.
Donald Moffat.
Rem.
Yeah, that guy.
Donald Moffat, thank you. Yes,
Yeah.
thank you. And it was superfluous. You didn't need a cyborg in Logan's Run unless it was Box. But as a
one
buddy,
thing I'll say, in
Marty
Logan's
Moose.
Run, the series, they had a really cool car thing that run on solar power they drove around in, so it was kind of wild looking.
I do agree. It has impeccable vibes. I feel like of all the 70s sci-fi movies, and I've covered a lot of 70s sci-fi movies, I feel like Logan's Run is like the distilled essence of 70s sci-fi on screen. It just looks like it, you know? It's perfect.
Oh,
Yeah,
the only
it's
thing
definitely
could have
very
made that
70s.
movie better was Charlton Heston.
True. Charlton Heston wasn't in it, but Michael York is a good standby.
Yeah.
And yeah, Peter Ustinov, who plays the old man with the cats. Constantly
I
quoting.
adore
Yeah, he's
Peter
so
Ustinov.
good.
I love. He's one of the people where I can't think of a bad performance he ever gave. And he does years ago. He did a commentary for when PBS was doing the Shakespeare plays. He would do commentaries for him, and I don't know if he was just a good narrator or was an expert on Shakespeare, but I think I appreciated them more from the information he gave me after listening to him.
I don't know if it was
he's just
because I was
amazing.
a big Charlie's Angels fan or whatever, but whenever it came on TV, I would watch Logan's Run just for this 8 seconds of Pharaoh or something.
Look, I like Farrah Fawcett and all, but Jenny Agutter. Come on, man.
Charlie's Angels.
She made Walkabout interesting. Oh. I'm gonna get hate mail from the Osploitation fans.
And that scene though that she's in, where like he goes in for the facial reconstructive surgery, and they basically try to kill him with lasers. It's actually it's a pretty harrowing scene. It's pretty cool. Anyway.
Oh yeah, it's good.
Yeah. So
you know how she got that part? He was full one day, and Farrah Fawcett walked by. He didn't even know who she was.
Right.
And he started talking to her. She goes, "Oh yeah, I'm an actress." And he's like, "Yeah." And he called up and says, "You have to put this woman in this movie. You have to." And they go, "Okay."
I mean, it's a movie about pretty people, so yeah.
Makes sense then.
Yeah.
Okay,
Dan.
Playing tennis.
Yeah. Oh, you Dan.
Playing tennis.
Ooh, that sounds familiar.
Maybe
it was a tennis club. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he saw her playing tennis at some tennis club, and they got to talking, and he just on the spot said, "You should try out for this movie." That's what I think I heard.
It was a tennis club, but some tennis clubs have pools.
So the card's on me again.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do a double shot of the same movie, a black and white version and a color version, which will become for obvious reasons. Now, if you take the original version from TV and movies of The Day the Earth Stood Still, the original version's about an alien with a big robot that tells everybody on Earth, chill out or the apocalypse is coming. It's not really a post-apocalyptic movie just because of the threat of the apocalypse. But in the remake with Keanu Reeves, the giant spears are here. They're sucking up the planet, and it is the apocalypse. Not that the Keanu Reeves version is nowhere near better than the original. But what I did find out with the spears sucking up the planet in the Keanu Reeves version is it's closer to the original story.
Neither one has any
books
story.
Because I found a really old classic. They there stood still tale told in comic books tales. And
I do love that Gord is ripped in that.
As you can see from the comic book cover, The spaceships in it are featured as spears. And I think that goes back to the 1950s when that Sputnik went up. If you notice in a few old movies, they refer to the UFOs as satellites, not UFOs or alien craft. And Sputnik, it went up and everybody was stuck on the satellite thing. So when they made
satellites.
the Earth Still original movie, they had the UFO craze. But when when the story come out, before the movie was made, it was Spears and Sputnik, and they were referring to everything a different way. So that's why you get the Spears versus the UFOs in the different movies.
Well, the original story was just like a robot and his human companion show up, and everybody assumes the human is the leader, but it's actually the robot because he comes from a place where robots have taken over, essentially.
Exactly.
Twist.
I'll be reviewing this comic book Tuesday.
Yeah. No, like, I think we all live in a world where the Day the Earth Stood Still remake has happened, so we all live in a post-apocalyptic world. That is one of the worst movies ever made. It is an affront to cinema. And
Jennifer Connelly couldn't save that movie.
Yeah, even Jennifer Connelly, Keanu Reeves, Kathy Bates. It's got an amazing cast, and they're all in this war crime of a movie.
And some pretty good special effects. It
does have some
entertaining, but yeah, it was horrible compared to the original. I mean,
so bad.
Yeah.
The original is a work of art, a masterpiece, a Picasso, and the remake with Keanu Reeves is a steaming turd.
That's an insult to steaming turds, Danny.
Yeah. It's a very horrible movie, but once again, it did have special effects. Yeah. And did lean to actually have spears and stuff in it, like the original.
I think they did a good job in the original with the special effects abilities they had at the time.
Oh, it's off the scale good.
You know, but yeah, I mean, the remake definitely had, CGI and all kinds of stuff to fall back on, but anyway, still sucked.
Giant nanobot gore.
Yeah. Yeah. They put him in a hole in the ground, and anyway.
I'll be honest, I'm not a really gigantic Keanu Reeves fan anyway. I find it really hard to like most of his movies. I didn't even like the crazy Kung Fu movies.
I don't know, it was
Matrix crap.
Really good in John Wick, but anyway.
I'm not a Matrix fan, which would probably been a better apocalyptic movie to bring up than that piece of crap. But I had the comic book.
I thought about bringing up the Matrix, but it's like, is that really post-apocalyptic survival, or is that dystopian future?
I think
it's kind of halfway between. The apocalypse happened and they're surviving, but at the same time, anyway.
It's almost a separate subgenre.
Yeah.
Well, what it is,
kind of like halfway between.
What it is too much crap for basic science fiction fan to ingest. It's an overload of science fiction. You need something. I like a science fiction movie to be straight up, like Alien. Here's a spaceship. Here's an alien trying to eat us. And that's what's happening. You don't need a whole bunch of plot. You don't need all this like a holographic world simulation crap. It's too much science fiction, man. You can't keep up with it.
I completely forgot about this. Speaking of post-apocalyptic survival, there's this book that everybody should read. That's kind of has some of that going on in it.
It's like half of it takes place in post-apocalypse. Yeah.
Mine's a little bit more tattered than Dan's there because I'm horrible on paperbacks.
Don't feel bad. So am I. I understand.
Yeah, I destroy paperbacks.
It's sort of par for the ADOX.
I'm a prop comic.
You do a good job, Danny. Thank you. Yeah, I've got mine copy here too. Always.
Aha!
I
got more back there. Yeah. And Carolyn just picked up the Kindle edition. Thank you so much.
Nice.
Yeah, I think that's true of any sci-fi fan. I mean, everybody loves The Day the Earth Stood Still, and everybody hates the remake.
I heard Michael Rennie was ill during it.
Nice. He told us where to stand, though.
On our feet.
They were trapped. There's no way they could have remade the original. If they
No,
made
it goes
it
back
like
to
the
what
original, people would have complained it was too much like the original. And if they made it different, people's going to complain it wasn't enough like the original. It's one of the
At least it didn't have Tom Cruise.
Yeah, they could have made it worse.
That would have made it worse. Yeah.
Keanu Reeves at least is a better actor than Tom Cruise.
If you want an example of worse, War of the Worlds with Tom Cruise.
That's why I brought it up, Dan.
Yeah.
Another horrible. It's for the people watching Ponds. They don't always.
No, I know.
I have a different opinion.
Thank you for driving the point home. I just wanted to.
Still, yeah.
I couldn't resist being a smartass.
There are things I like about the War of the Worlds remake, but they're far outweighed by the things I don't like.
Yeah.
I got you. Harper might.
I think
be
the part I
watching,
don't
so
like the
gotta
most about
explain
War of the
things.
Worlds is Tom Cruise, but everything else wasn't that bad. But Tom Cruise, that
Dakota Fanning screaming.
Okay,
Yeah,
well,
that too.
Did you see Tom Cruise in The Mummy?
Whew.
Yeah, I can go all day with Tom Cruise.
We might talk about that next week.
No, it is Halloween time. It's time to bash Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great topic. Like horror movies so bad that they're not fun. We've done the so bad they're good a lot. How about the ones that's like, no, I just can't. I just can't.
Okay, that works. I can live with that. Yeah.
Because there are some it's like, no, I just can't.
Just bad.
There's a lot of them out there.
There are a lot.
Yeah,
a whole lot of them.
So that might carry us through the rest of October.
In fact, I brought up one of them a few months ago when we did like alien movies or something like that. Creature was a pretty bad horror movie. Anyway.
I like that movie.
You like Creature?
I like Creature, man.
Dan is always full of surprises. I love you, Dan.
Well, there's a few moments in it, sure, but I mean, the rest of it's just like,
you
come
gotta realize
on.
I like the giant claw too. So,
thank you, Tracy. You're awesome.
I don't always hate a movie just because the special effects in it suck. You know,
I've got to play this for Tracy.
I can name a lot of movies that the special effects wasn't up to par, but everything else was great.
This one.
3, 2, 1. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Hey.
Thank
Have a
you,
nice
Tracy.
day.
I don't have no clue what just happened.
Tracy gave money, so he gave her a thank you. Like Dave
All
does.
right, there you go.
Super.
I think so. Yeah.
I can't believe I haven't talked about this one yet, unless I have, and I'm getting forgetful in my old age. But I'm going to go with Things to Come. Have I talked about this yet in this little...
I don't think we've talked about that yet. No.
I know I have in other places, but I don't think I mentioned it here. So I'm going to talk about Things to Come. This was sort of... There was before Things to Come and after Things to Come in my book. I was already into the genre when I saw it. But I remember I saw this movie as a kid because it was public domain in the States. So when I was developing my first home theater library, you could get them cheap. And I found this movie almost by mistake, and I watched it, and it was just like... little exposition. So it was made right before World War II, and when a lot of the powers in Europe were worrying about what a second world war would be like. Final Blackout by L. Ron Hubbard does a very similar thing. And they envisioned World War II as not the sort of intense struggle that it was, but a long, grinding sort of World War I on steroids. And it's so long and arduous, it ends up bankrupting the global economy and creates this sort of post-apocalyptic wasteland, for want of a better term. There's also a soldier sickness because they theorize biological warfare would be a good idea, and of course it is not. And it has a theme that you see a lot in post-apocalyptic films, or at least you do now. You didn't back then. What it did was it created a sort of future dark age where people revert to the agrarian level society because that's all that can be sustainable. And this warlord takes over England, played by Ralph Richardson, and he is outstanding as this sort of brigand. And he goes head-to-head with our hero, Raymond Macy, who somehow, we never find out how, somehow he escapes during the war, and he sets up with this new group called Wings Over the World. And The idea being that there's somewhere in the world that has not been completely destroyed, and it will be up to them to rebuild. Ironically, the place where they set up is Basra in present-day Iraq, and I was always certain that they did that at the time because the idea of the Fertile Crescent, the first kick-starting point of original civilization, would be the kick-starting point of a new civilization. Absolutely delicious. Also, the fact that it was ripped away from the Ottoman Empire after World War One, so it's like an up-and-coming nation. Ironically, the modern state of Iraq has been in a almost perpetual state of war as far back as I can remember. So Basra was probably like really, really battered by the time I actually saw it. But the movie has everything. And as I'm sure you guys know, I'm a huge fan of Night of the Living Dead. The soldier sickness is portrayed as when you get this very, very high fever, and it basically bakes your brain. So when you succumb to it, you get up and sort of meander about in this catatonic state, and I will die on this hill. That was the inspiration for the ghouls in Night of the Living Dead, among others, but I think that was actually the first depiction of it. And again, I always love the idea of this sort of postmodern dark age civilization, which is actually overthrown by, are you sitting down, the one world government, which Will sort of had a love-hate relationship with the concept of. But
and they had that wonderful gas of peace to gas people.
Yeah, you say that one world government thing like it's a bad idea.
Well, Will's had a love-hate relationship with the concept, and he deals with it more in the book. But it's the idea; it's a two-edged sword at best.
That movie also inspired The Shape of Things to Come with Jack Palance. We might talk about that next time, but no, it's not a horror movie though. It's a sci-fi movie.
I'd rather talk about this
really bad
horrible movie called The Shape of Water. It's got a horny.
Oh god, no, we don't need to go there.
That's a good movie. Curiosity, has anybody seen the Horny Lizard Man movie?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yes,
I've got it on DVD.
Oh god. My grandkids watching that crap. I'm like, what the hell are you watching? It's a horny lizard man.
So
hey, she instigated. Don't even try to throw it on him now.
It is an uncomfortable subplot of the movie.
No, man, this movie.
And I love Del Toro.
The guy who made Creature from the Black Lagoon is rolling over in his coffin. Literally rolling.
As we previously discussed, it is the Creature from the Black Lagoon, basically. So
it's more. Let me hear you whisper. It's more. Let me hear you whisper. In fact, the people who the estate of the person who wrote "Let Me Hear You Whisper" sued Del Toro, and his defense was, "No, I ripped out Creature of the Black Lagoon."
and with the Halloween season coming up, I'm sure that horrible movie will be discussed in the future.
Which there's a couple. It's also a little Humanoids of the Deep thrown in, if you think about it.
Okay, sure.
In a nice, polite way.
Well, yeah.
It's
a consensual creature.
With champagne and caviar. Yeah, here's have dinner with fish.
I always, not to get off topic too much, but I always love the fact that the director of Humanoids from the Deep hated it because after it was made, Corman came out and said, "No, this isn't raunchy enough. I want you to put more scenes of assault in." And they go, "Really? You sick sicko."
Yes.
I remember, man, it was one of the movies that when we first got cable, it was on like every day.
Oh, I know. I think I thought it would be 30 times.
It was like a car wreck. You couldn't turn it off if it was on.
Okay, Damien. I think it's your turn.
My turn. Okay, so I'm going to go with another, what I would consider fairly realistic portrayal of survival after an apocalypse. Z for Zachariah, if anybody else has seen that. No?
You've mentioned it before, but I still haven't seen
it. I've seen this movie. I know I have.
So I'm not going to lie, Dan, it's kind of boring.
That's why I can't remember much about it.
So would life rebuilding after the apocalypse be kind of boring. So, it's kind of a realistic portrayal. It's one of those movies that you're either going to like it or you're going to hate it. But so there's literally 3 actors in the entire movie. That's it. Nobody else. No extras, no nothing. 3 people. You got Chris Pine. How do you pronounce his name?
Chiwetel Ejiofor. I had to learn that.
Ejiofor. Yeah, that's Chiwetel Ejiofor, and Margot Robbie of all people, playing the farm girl. So basically, she's there's been a nuclear war, and her farm is in an isolated valley where there is no.
Hold on. Yeah. Is this the one with the water thing?
The water wheel?
The water thing where they're all worried about water.
They are worried about water in the movie, but they're not worried about it like in a major way. There's a waterfall on the property that is radioactive water.
That's what you tell that guy to get out of the pool. Don't be in the water.
That's the one. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
You've probably seen the preview for it or something. But yeah, get out of the water. Get out of the water.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a waterfall that comes in from outside the valley that has radioactive water in it that they later used to make a water wheel to power a generator, to turn a generator to power their freezer again, so they can freeze food for longer, for longer food storage. But anyway, basically it's about scientist guy or engineer who was in an underground bunker, survives. He comes to this valley in a radiation suit, surviving the radiation of, I wouldn't say the wasteland. It's not like the whole world is turned into like ash or anything. It's just you can't survive out there. You'll die from radiation poisoning. He gets in the water and into the waterfall water, and she finds him on, it's her property, and she's like, get out of the water, and then he gets really sick and she has to nurse him back to health, and she sort of kind of falls in love with him, and him being Loomis, who is Chiwetel. And then soon after comes along Caleb, played by Chris Pine, who, she's really religious and Loomis is not. And Chris comes along and he's religious too. So he kind of gets in there, and plays to her. She's obviously attracted to him, kind of thing. And that kind of drives a wedge between the two of them, and, blah, blah, blah. And I'm not going to ruin the ending, but anyway, in the end, there's only Margot Robbie and Chiwetel left. So I'm not going to ruin what happens in there. But anyway, it's kind of, shows, farming and, things that they have to do to survive, catching fish and so on and so forth a little bit. It doesn't go into great detail about that. It's more of a drama about the personal relationship between these 3 people, but it's also very, kind of realistic in how those dynamics might work.
There's a lot of that.
I actually saw this movie, man. I really did. I didn't like the ending of it very much. And if I had it to do over, I probably would have fast forwarded most of it. Well, it was like real quickly. I'm gonna say this, and I'll be done with this movie. It was like Castaway if Tom Hanks had friends and the ball could talk.
Kind of, maybe a little bit, yeah.
The idea of a love triangle after the end of the world is it's very the world, the flesh, the devil. That Harry Belafonte.
Another thing, real quick, is they picked the wrong 3 people to have a love triangle.
I thought it was interesting though, because the 3 people that are the actors, the only actors in the movie. I thought it was an interesting look at it, because it does kind of bring modern dynamics into the whole thing. And
once again, though, you picked another movie I've watched in the last 30 days.
Mm-hmm.
Which is about,
I watched it last night because I hadn't seen it yet. So
I went through this list of post-apocalyptic movies and found like 20 of them I never seen, and I've been slowly watching them this month on kind of what we've been doing here.
Yeah,
most of them suck.
There are quite a few out there
Well, I
that
got a list
suck
of
really
things that
bad. Yeah,
really are just horrible, man.
Oh yeah,
but
trash.
I wouldn't say that this one
No,
sucked though.
that's
It was
finished.
just kind of long and plodding, and it's all just drama, really. But it is like I'm saying, like a kind of a realistic portrayal of what things might be like. And it's one of those other things where it's like, you ever thought about what you would do if the end of the world happened and you had the opportunity to get out of the city? And
Yeah, well, they
you
make a
know,
TV
it's like
show.
my
They make this
whole
horrible TV show called
Yeah.
Naked and Alive or something, where they put you on an island. And if you want to watch boredom reality kind of stuff, there you go, because that's what it is. And reality can be really boring. That's why people like science fiction, fantasy, and horror. We don't want reality.
There was a reality show ages ago where it was effectively, it was like Survivor, but they came up with a invented post-apocalyptic angle. It was canceled fairly early on, but I thought it was kind of a neat premise.
The Colony was a neat show because it showed you how to like render fat from dead pigs and stuff and turn it into a windmill. And I don't know, I thought it was a really neat take on it, but yeah, I think it only lasted one season.
This movie kind of
I don't even think it finished that season. I think it was canceled during this.
I think you're right.
Yeah. Well, this movie kind of spoke to me because at one point in time when you know, back during the 2008 financial crisis and collapse and Great Recession, I was a little concerned that things were going to fall apart pretty quickly and badly. And so I went about gathering up a bunch of books on farming and, how to build things like water wheels and windmills and things like that, and make biodiesel and ethanol and things like that. I have a little library in there, my little like post-apocalyptic survival library. And one things that I always thought would be the best thing to do would be to go find an isolated valley somewhere out in the sticks where I could farm. And so this movie is exactly that kind of thing, except she didn't come from a city, and she grew up on that farm. Yeah, that was her farm.
She knew how to do it because she was already there.
Yeah. So
I gotta tell you, Todd brought up an amazingly poignant point. If you want to do a movie about a post-apocalyptic interracial love triangle, you have the perfect template. You have the world, the flesh, and the devil. Why they decided to use Z for Zechariah is still beyond me, because I don't know if you guys read the book, but in the book, it is very, very, very important. There was only 2 of them. So there's no love triangle. It's the dynamic between the 2 of them. I'm sure they changed this for the boundaries of good taste. She is very clearly a teenage girl, not Margot Robbie, who's an adult.
In the
She's
movies.
like 16.
Or in the book, you mean? Yeah.
In the book.
Yeah.
In the book, the girl's 16. So I think it would have been in really poor taste to do that in the movie. But what happens
she's probably more like 20, I would say, is she's supposed to be somewhere around there. But
it's all the dynamic between her and this one guy who shows up. So when you make it a love triangle, you destroy the entire dynamic, in my opinion, which is why I never saw it.
I could see it being a movie where there's only 2 of them. I could see that working better than the movie that they made, in all honesty.
I can see that too.
Because there is a dynamic at the beginning or early on in the movie before, the third comes along, where like she's kind of sort of throwing herself at him a little bit, and he's like, whoa, whoa, just hold on here, cool your jets, simmer down now. I'm not quite sure I'm ready for all this, and I'm not sure that you are either, kind of thing. And so, yeah, I could see that being a better dynamic and how they work together and eventually like learn to like love each other or whatever, yada, yada, yada. So, but.
Oh, and I have to acknowledge Indy's a comment, and thank you, Indy, because that's actually a reference to something I talked about on a post I did on Night of the Living Dead. There's no sexual tension, but the dynamic between Judith O'Dea's character, Barbara, in Night of the Living Dead, with Ben being her protector character and then being challenged by Mr. Cooper. Both of them see themselves as the de facto protector of the damsel in distress. And that actually becomes a bone of contention during the movie. So, yes, there is a certain, you could call, interracial love triangle in that movie as well. Only not a amorous one, but it's still a triangle. Thank you. And Damien, I got to say, I might actually have to check this movie out Just on your say so.
It's decent.
FYI, that damsel in distress is the only one who survived.
In Not Living Dead? No, she didn't.
I said, FYI, the damsel in distress is the only one that lived from the house.
In what movie?
Not of the Living Dead.
No, she didn't survive.
Yes, she didn't live.
But yeah, Barbara didn't survive.
Nobody survived the house.
Sorry.
No, in the remake.
Okay, that's a little different.
The remake, she's the only one who survives.
Okay,
I
was talking original.
But yeah, the original, nobody survives. Spoiler alert!
If you haven't seen Not Living Dead, you shouldn't be on this channel.
Yeah,
I've showed it on this channel.
I haven't seen it in so long I can barely remember it.
Yeah, you did, because I couldn't get the sound to work, so you were just quoting the lines. That was really funny.
That was a fun show. Do you still have that?
I do. It's still up. Like, that one hasn't gotten taken down, so that's still on my channel.
That, like 4 years ago?
That was a long time ago. Yeah,
I remember that.
Our second collaboration, I think.
Years ago.
It hasn't been taken down because you couldn't get the sound to work. So
probably, yeah, probably has a lot to do with it.
Maybe we found a secret. We can just play these movies.
You just narrate them yourself, you know.
And we can do the vocals.
Yeah, there you go. We'll all be actors.
Read, you know.
Just send out the script, everybody, and you can pick your roles. And
That's your view. That's your view.
Time from outer space with us doing the vocals for it. We can change them a little bit, you know.
We'll call it algorithm theater.
I have to be the alien at the end. You're stupid minds.
Stupid. That's all I'm going to take from you. In the future.
Such a great movie. Anyway, let's see. We are running low on time, and I just got the news that my nephew just gave birth. So, or my nephew,
congratulations.
Wife just gave birth.
Is he they them?
Definitely not that side of the family.
Couldn't resist. Sorry.
So I'm just going to go ahead and list a couple of the movies that are still on my list and not really talk about them because, like I said, we're going to move on. Next week, we'll talk about bad horror movies that are actually bad. They're not fun. They're just bad. Well, I know that this one was also on Damien's list, but I'm going to mention it anyway. That's Quiet Place. Yep. And since Danny mentioned The Day the Earth Stood Still, I figured I'd mention The Day the Earth Caught Fire. Even though it's technically not a post-apocalyptic movie, it's more of an apocalypse movie, but still. THX 1138. That's post-apocalyptic.
That's right. I forgot that was. Yeah.
We did kind of touch on the Terminator movies, but I did want to talk about Terminator Salvation for reasons. And then, of course, one of my favorite. There you go. Cool. One of my favorite Pixar movies.
Box set, by the way.
WALL-E, where the actual problem is never solved. But I do love WALL-E. Great movie. I've seen it a billion times because it was one of my son's favorite movies when he was 5. And if you know anything about 5-year-olds, you know how many times I've seen that movie. So that's it. That was the rest of my list. Dan, you got anything else you just want to list off before we go?
Before we go, since we're not going to do this again, I will bring up the Kevin Costner double feature of apocalyptic nightmares, and that would be The Postman, which is almost as boring as the other movies we talked about, and the one where he pretends to be Aquaman in Waterworld. another postal.
I don't have that one on DVD.
Kevin Costner bore fest.
Okay, yeah,
I like the one where he plays a post-apocalyptic baseball player.
But give him credit where credit's due. He made something outside the normal realm of the movies these kind of actors normally make.
Wasn't Waterworld one of the most expensive movies ever made or something?
Because they basically had to make it twice. Or they had to make all the sets twice because of a hurricane. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Give him credit where credit's due. At least he made these kind of movies.
Yeah.
Hello, Christopher.
Give him that.
Even though they were long, drug out, and boring as Dancing with a Wolf.
They were basically still Dances with Wolves, just in the post-apocalypse.
It's always Dances with Wolves.
Kevin Costner movies make me want to dance with my
or
pillow.
Field of Dreams, one of the two.
Dances with copyright infringement.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, there you go. Pretty sure that's Avatar.
That's what I called Avatar, actually. Very good. You see, you guys pay attention.
So, Thrash, read off some more of your list. I know you've got a very long list of post-apocalyptic.
Well, I have a lot in here, but I actually only have 2 left on the list, so it should be easy for me. One of them is Jean Reno in Le Dernier Combat, which is a French post-apocalyptic, which is amazing. It's set in a post-apocalyptic world where women are almost non-existent for whatever reason, but this horrible genetically engineered plague causes people to be unable to speak. And it's a really, really great dynamic. And it's basically about these 2 warriors who square off and have a pissing contest throughout. It's a great, great movie. And another one is, this is a forgotten classic. It's possibly the only post-apocalyptic Richard Harris movie ever made, and it's called The Ravengers, and it's worth seeing for the cast alone.
It's funny that we go from Dan talking about Waterworld to you talking about a pissing contest. So. Also, I just learned this morning that Richard Harris is actually the father of Jared Harris. I didn't know they were related. Apparently they are.
Jared Harris being whom?
Chernobyl, Foundation. He's a great actor. He's been in a lot of things you'd probably recognize. Hold on.
I just found out this morning that Taylor in Planet of the Apes had a first name.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what it is?
No.
I did. I can't think of it off the top of my head, but they do mention it. What is it?
George Taylor.
He's also from South Bend, Indiana. I'm Fort Wayne, Indiana. I'm sorry.
I did not know he had a name, George. The first name.
I got a name.
It don't appear in the movie.
Haven't seen that. Yeah, I guess I just haven't seen anything he was in.
He's a great actor. He's fantastic. I love Jared Harris.
Apologies.
I just didn't know.
I'm sure I've seen him in some. I've seen him in some.
Anyway, Damien, what do you got?
City of Ember.
Oh, that's a good one. I didn't even think about that one.
Yeah, got an all-star cast. You know, basically civilization living in a bunker for, I don't know, 500 years or something like that.
It's funny because Tim Robbins also plays basically the same character in Silo, which is about a post-apocalyptic future where everybody lives inside a bunker.
Zombieland, and of course Zombieland Double Tap. 28 Days Later, Dawn of the Dead, the remake.
Actually, the good remake of all the Dead movies.
Yes,
it is a very good remake.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it had a couple of parts I wasn't real fond of, but overall it was a good remake.
Yeah,
these could be dystopian future, but they're also post-apocalyptic. The Maze Runner.
The
Divergent series, and of course the game series.
My wife loves all of those.
And then of course you got Oblivion.
Oblivion, great movie.
And then a few other things on my list. Let's see, The Book of Eli. If that wasn't brought up,
we talked about that last week.
Okay,
you weren't on that one, but yes, we
you weren't there.
Snowpiercer.
Did we ever talk
Monkeys.
about
12 Monkeys is definitely
post-apocalyptic. The apocalyptic train nightmare called Snowpiercer.
That's what Damien just mentioned. Yeah, we didn't
literally just saying that.
I'm sorry.
Are you on a lag, Dan?
No, I'm just saying. We never did talk about that.
No, we never did.
So.
And I brought up an Ice Age too, so I'm shocked we didn't bring it up.
Snowpiercer was okay. It was all right. The concept was ridiculous, but you know, perpetual motion.
It was an ignorant movie.
One other thing, Midnight Sky. If you've never seen it, I liked it. A lot of people didn't, because they thought it was too plotting and long and so on and so forth. But I thought it was very, it was just the human touch there. Anyway.
I did an entire podcast with Lynn on that movie.
We all need a human touch.
Oh, I am Mother is another good one, but that's again, you're kind of. Has anybody seen that one?
I haven't seen it, but I know about it.
Yeah,
that's the one with the robot.
Yeah, the robot's the mother or whatever, and taking care of raising the kid. It's a neat concept. I didn't actually like the movie that much. It's more the concept that was kind of interesting to me.
Yeah.
So, and there's others, but I haven't seen them all, so I'm not even going to bring them up anyway. But that's all I got.
Okay. Well, on that note, I think we're gonna call it. Does anybody have anything to plug? Thrash, you're on tonight with Dan and
No,
Sarah.
Oh.
No.
It's
No,
just
Sarah didn't have a
tonight.
concept, so I made arrangements. I'm going to go solo tonight. Yes,
You
indeed, I
solo
will have
tonight.
trivia.
Well,
Oh,
Sarah
sorry.
said she wasn't been feeling good this week, and she canceled her other shows,
right.
and
Yeah.
I haven't talked to her,
That's
so I'm assuming she still don't feel like doing nothing.
Well,
So I
hope
was going
she's
to do
feeling
solo
better.
tonight, but yeah, Dan and Sarah, health permitting.
I watched
next
y'all's joke off, and she looked like she barely made it through it.
Yeah, she didn't seem like she was like still kind of like fighting whatever it is she's
Yeah, and
fighting.
she's
but
only
I will
sent
be
me
on
like
tonight,
3
guys.
memes today. There must be something wrong.
Yeah.
Oh my god, she's dead.
And I haven't got
Hope
my
not.
my usual 47 texts from her today. But
Okay, I hope you're feeling better, Sarah, if you ever watch it.
Crash next week, me and you, and we take on some horror movie subjects.
Yes.
Oh.
Sounds good.
Bird Box was one other that I forgot.
Oh, Bird Box. I mean, we mentioned Quiet Place, so Bird Box. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Bird Box is
Bird
kind of like
Box.
The Quiet Place meets The Happening.
Yeah, or The Quiet Place with ghosts. I don't know
Yeah,
what
sure.
they're supposed to be.
What happened, man?
If the guy was really into H.P. Lovecraft when he was a kid, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
Okay, and
Oh,
Dan,
I'll
do
see
you
you guys
have
tonight.
anything special to
I'm sorry. Yeah.
plug? Dan.
Not a thing, man. I barely made it to this show. I've been living in my own little apocalypse this week. That's why I was telling you backstage before the show. We had a lightning storm, and I was sitting out here smoking, and lightning was hitting the pole with the street light on it behind my house, and it formed this great big round circle, and it was lightning and it blew and lightning in a circle. I kept expecting a naked Arnold Schwarzenegger to pop out of it. But I had no power last night. I had no internet. It was a dismal nightmare of a night. It was very apocalyptic.
Okay. Well, hopefully that'll end soon in a good way, not a bad way.
As long as nothing comes out of this mist, I'll be okay.
Gary Carpenter's in the chat singing the praises of Avatar. So I think it's time we end. So like I said, I do have a review of The Curse of Frankenstein coming out in half an hour. This is Hammer month for me. I'm doing a lot of Hammer horror movies this month because I've neglected them for far too long. And yeah, like I said, we'll be back next week to talk about bad horror movies.
And if you go to my Shock Theater channel, my Shock Theater official, I got a sneak peek up of the new movie, The Bride of Frankenstein.
Right.
Bride movie coming out in 2026. It's really gonna suck.
Yeah, like Christian Bale as Frankenstein's monster doesn't make any sense to me because
It's gonna be horrible, ain't it? I can't wait to talk about this one.
The whole point of Frankenstein's monster is he's supposed to embody pathos, right? Like he always has. Even in the book, he's pathos. That's the whole point. Christian Bale and pathos don't go together. I've never felt pathos for Christian Bale. As much as I like Christian Bale as an actor, no.
I don't know. I'm just looking so forward to spending hours upon hours bashing this movie on YouTube.
Well, good for you. I'm not looking forward to it. I am looking forward to Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein, though. That comes out this month at some point, I think.
You know, it's really gonna be bad if it turns out to be great.
Yeah, that's gonna annoy me. Anyway, I'm gonna hit the button now. So good night, everybody. Or after.
Thank you and good night.
Sorry, cut off your